writing on paper. You're writing on, okay, that's okay. It's all good. I just have to make sure maybe you were writing to a friend. I don't know. All right. He needs more stickies. Oh, I see. It's okay. Yeah, whatever works. All right, so I'm going to move to the next slide, I think, because I think everybody's done. All right, cool. So you've got your list, and that's going to come up later. We're going to learn some more things, and then go back to your list. All right, so now we're going to start the condenser portion. Now, for those of you who are, there's a warning on this one. Be careful, folks. I know this is the .NET meetup. I'm not under any false pretenses. But I happen to have an application in Java to look at, so yeah, I know, it's getting our crossing streams here.
Yes, that's next door.
They're literally next door right now.
We should knock on them, see if they'll come over and join us.
One shot for translation.
Yeah, I thought about that. I don't know. Is it a one shot? Do you think?
I think if you're,
it seems pretty doable.
if you're capable.
Depends how you prompt it. All right, cool. So let's jump into this app. All right, so this application, how's the font? Is it sort of suitable? A little bigger? Small.
One bigger would be good.
All right, let's see.
Control plus.
20 is that it? I forgot.
Usually, or is control and scroll the wheel left.
20 remembers. I can actually zoom in manually, but I bet 20 remembers.
This is Riger, right? Yeah.
Sorry?
This is Riger, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know about the shortcut for
Good at
Riger.
view. Under view.
But I know like Visual Studio, you can do like control 0, 1, 2, like that. And that'll
There you go.
Gotta see if there's like a presentation mode.
That's great. That was great.
Cool. So yeah, I'm going to show you an application that was written with TDD and test-driven development, which means, what's your name, by the way?
Michael.
Michael, I'm Lance. Michael was saying earlier, do you write the tests first before you write the code? Is that the value he's trying to think about? And I said, I'm trying to give people a break because maybe if you do know that, add those things, but if you don't, it's fine. So yes, I literally wrote each test, then I wrote some code, and then I wrote another test, and then I wrote more code. Yeah. So, by the way, for those of you who wrote on that first question on your sticky note, yes or no, raise your hand if you wrote yes, you've done TDD.
Done it or do it? I think you said do it.
At least be familiar.
Yes.
I'll go with that. All right, cool. All right, it's quite a few. That's good. All right. Hey, that was more than our North.NET meetup.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a more advanced group. See here. So
They have more trees.
yeah, it's distracting.
More oxygen up there.
So I have these tests. I've written these tests. You can see there's 25. They all pass. And I have classes over here. I have a map class. I have a character not supported class. I have a wrapper, which is literally a wrapper, has nothing in it. Time. And then I have the tests down there for those items too. So when somebody says, hey, I wrote something with TDD, and they show you the running unit tests, like I did here, how do you assess that they really did it with TDD?
Oh, I got
Very quickly or?
I know how I know.
Well, just what comes to mind?
So you could look at code coverage numbers.
The more mocks, the more lies.
Code coverage numbers is a good one, right? That's easy. That's quickly, right? That's a good quick.
It would give you an idea.
but
It's
what-
not going to tell you if they're worth a damn though.
Exactly.
Because you can write unit tests with no assertions, and it will show up as.
You should tell people that, by the way, because then they're going to go out and have 100% code coverage. So this code has 110% code coverage, just in case you're wondering. But I'll put that aside.
It's a design.
What's that?
For one, technically, you probably can never really tell, but the evidence for one piece of evidence would be the design, because TDD, if you really do TDD, then it usually influences the design.
Okay. So like, help me out. How would you assess this code? Like, tell me where to go to assess the design. I agree with you actually.
I mean, I'll generally look for things like, okay, well, is this thing like naturally testable? Or are they having to like mock all over the place, or are they doing crazy things with like orchestration tests, right? Because a lot of times when you see stuff like that, you're like, yeah, this thing was grafted on after the fact, and and then you can usually get a bit of an idea. But when you start to see like, hey, does it look naturally testable? Is it actually testing things that tie into like the units of functionality? Are these things actually like written in a way where they're naturally testable? You're not having to judge it.
Yeah, and so you're saying basically.
When you say naturally accessible, I bet you mean more natural object oriented.
Not necessarily.
That's what I usually judge it by.
I mean, it depends on context. Like context is king. But I mean, it's gonna be like like I said, the best example I can think of is hey, you've got like, for example, like let's say you have a calculator, like a calculator or a class, have whatever. Okay. Right. And you're like, hey, go ahead and and the test says something like, okay, well this plus this equals that. Okay, and it's like a really cheesy example, but like you're like, okay, well that feels like it. But then if you look at another one and it's like, oh, here's another calculator class. Oh, hey, you've got this mock, and now you're running a test, and now you're using a spy on, and now you're confirming that when you call the addition plus what's called, you're like, yeah, there's no way on earth this thing was actually TDD. This was grafted after the fact.
Right. Now, I agree 100% with what you said. Now, why are you saying that you're 100% sure it wasn't written with TDD?
Because like the tests themselves are not written in natural. You're not focusing on the behavior. You're focusing on things like internal implementation. You're actually testing to see if certain items inside. It's almost basically gray or white box test at that point. It's actually being called, and that's not the kind of thing where you would expect to have evolved if you started off with tests.
That's why I said more mocks, more lies.
Yeah.
Well, and I do agree with that. I was just kind of giving a little bit more of like how to ties in with the naturalness definition.
So let me provide maybe another metaphor. So maybe what you're looking for is if it looks testable, like it's testable by design.
Right, and I'll say naturally testable just because technically a person could say, well, it is testable, but yeah, if you want to
have mocks and all this other work, but that's extra work. So why,
right.
If you did it with TDD, would you intentionally make it hard for you to do your work?
Exactly.
Probably not, right? You would no, I don't want to write all these extra things that make it testable.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So who knows what a mock is, by the way? Raise your hand if you know.
I'm going to try for tests. Look at the test names and see if they're actually describing simple behavior.
There's another good point. So, for those who don't know what mocks are, maybe you're going to hang with us. It's a way of making something testable by living with a not very testable design. And so it's a workaround, really. So what this gentleman just said is we can look at the test names and see if it looks like they're talking about behavior. So, all right, so we have, before I do that though, I haven't told you yet what this bloody software does. So, what this software does is, this was written back in the day of Farmville, but super easy to implement. So there's a map, and when it's just dirt on the map, it's X. If you put water on a location, and then add more water in a later turn, so turn 2 we have more water, it turns into a bog. So if it's too much water, it now becomes a bog on the dirt. On turn 3, we can add seeds. We leave this one alone, it dries out to water. We can add water on top of the seed, and then we get carrots. So that's what this game does. So back to what this gentleman said is you can look at the test names and see if it sounds like it's behavior. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have something testing for equality here. We have test water is W and dirt is X. We have a test to see if we can show dirt. We have a test that we can change a location. Make it state transfer.
And some of these asserts too are kind of like you're returning results that are strings which are easily testable against an expectation. So that's kind of also some more evidence that's kind of taken towards some of these being done on the right. Being done during the design process. I can't say for sure, but just that's
I wouldn't say it's about the string, but it's about the the output is being checked.
Exactly. And you actually return like output that you can check relatively easily as opposed to like, hey, let's get that callback in there, whatever, let's get that mock in there, so.
All right, and then we go to another one, like we go to time test. Time says update of dirt is dirt. So if it's dirt, is an update. After an update, does it stay dirt? Update water dries to dirt. Update log dries to water. So you're hearing the functionality of the class level. But look at the naming convention. What's that telling you? What's that? Why do I have all these starting with update?
That's how the game state evolves.
Be more specific.
Just have some of the functions that will be at the heart of how elements of the game state evolve.
So the thing that's under test is time dot update, and so the naming convention, it doesn't have to be exactly this naming convention, but this is a common one that you see with TDD is like, oh, I'm going to create an update, so I'm going to make a test for it, and then I'm going to call it, and then I have to have, what am I doing with update? What's the specific scenario? So then that's what that is explaining the scenario. Does that make sense so far? So it's kind of telling us what it does. If you didn't have you have a thought, you can tell us what's it.
It's not.
Go ahead, it's all right.
It's not spec tests.
Spec flow, as in spec flow?
Given when thens.
Yeah. It isn't. Tell me more.
So I prefer to write my tests as always given initial state when action occurs, then the state, which is like the assertion.
Would you write your unit test that way? I mean, it sounds like I guess the answer is yes. That's what you
I don't know. I usually don't write unit tests anymore. But
Ah!
I'm not a good example all the time.
So yeah, no, that's actually a fair statement. So
Yeah.
when you go out the internet and you learn about unit testing, there's sort of a format war between the behavior-driven development people.
Yeah.
That is
And
where
act, assert.
It's
Yeah.
given when then came from, and then they were quite frankly late to the game. I mean, people were doing TDD before then, and so this isn't in that style, and that might have to be a different
It's
topic.
set up
But
as
in short, I would say, that's good for behavior-driven development, which is at a higher level testing, functional testing. I don't personally do that for unit testing, but the world's gotten more complicated because there's some unit test tools that say, hey, let's just do it the B2D style way. And so it's kind of polluting you used to know if it's a given when then, it's a functional test. If it's this style, it's a unit test. So they're all testing, but yeah, it's the JavaScript frameworks I see where they're using a lot of the given when then for unit testing. Which, I'm not like a fan of, that's as long as you get your tests done and we can test the quality. So somebody said we still don't know if these are of quality. So you did a nice job of talking about how you would assess if somebody did test-driven development based on the design, and then this fellow said based on the language of the unit tests. But what's another way to test the quality now? Because Tony told me people are going around writing tests and not putting asserts in there.
Well, a good test framework should fail the test if there's no assertion.
Yeah, but X unit and N unit, they're not going to do that.
They don't.
I don't know of any that does.
And I don't think even MS Test, I don't think it does. And you could write like an analyzer or something like that to detect
Like
a
so-
unit test with no assertions.
Maybe even does that. I don't know. It should actually, but I don't know if it does.
I mean, a fuzzer should shake out like tests that are meaningful, right? If you perturb, if your tests are relatively good, well, there's several dimensions of quality here, right? If the tests are like meaningful, right? Then if you perturb the inputs in slightly, you should get a test failure, right? Now, of course, there's a whole range of you can have a test of like, X is greater than 10, and there could be ways to say perturbing it to where the test is still passing, but it's not a say, meaningless as assert equals true, right? To try to gain the test coverage, for instance.
Yeah. So he said the word fuzzer. I'm familiar with the concept, but I haven't used it in the context of this. But everything you said fits the metaphor.
Yeah.
You may have also heard mutation testing. Has anyone heard of mutation testing? Okay. So that's a language more people use in the test domain, but maybe they're using fuzzer too. And I'm just thinking out the wrong.
Mutation test is probably a better term. Some use fuzzer, but I think mutation is a little bit more common.
So can you yeah, so I agree that that's a great way to test the quality of somebody who says they wrote PDD. They say they got really good coverage, 110%. Remember I said that earlier. Maybe 120. I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at the code coverage. Got it up there somewhere.
That sounds believable.
My manager bought it. Yeah, they got like a bonus because of that. It's extra 20%. So how about we just do them? We can manually fuzz this or mutate it, right?
Yeah.
Would that be a way we could? And then so he's saying that if we change the product code, now we have two kinds of code: product code and test code. All right. So if we change the product code, and because the code coverage is at 110% at least, what should happen if we put a bug in the product? Anywhere in the product, random location.
And if you have one, test should fail.
Test should fail. Yeah. I need a volunteer to come up and put a bug in the product.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's pointing. Come on.
You need to fix the, you can't see the screen.
It just we'll just yeah. I'm getting.
Okay, we see the screen now.
Dun dun dun. And the key point is in the product code. Some people like Gil.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the anywhere in that area is product code.
Okay.
So at times I've done this by stepping out of the room and then showing how fast I could try to find the bug in less than 5 minutes. That's always the goal. I had one team that cheated, put a couple of bugs in. That makes it a lot harder. I think I maybe got it done in 5 minutes.
And that's another good criteria. You just gotta mention high traceability.
Yeah, sorry. One second. We want to be able to show. We're showing on the screen.
Oh.
I don't know. You know, it's.
I was gonna really try to break it.
Yeah, well, I want you to. I'm trying to figure out why this thing is crazy. So I need to extend it, I guess? Yes, because when it goes to sleep and it wakes up, it says, hey, I'm just going to do extend for some reason. There we go. Good, sorry. So this area is the product code. This area is the test code. So we want to test. So you're in map test right now, I think. You're changing a test.
Oh, am I?
Where are you at, man? We just talked about this.
No, I'm in map. I'm in map.java.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah.
why can't I read my tabs? I'm sorry. So did you change something or not? I don't know.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's okay. You're supposed to put a bug in.
Oh, I will.
So this is the only time in your career you're being asked to put a bug in, right? Has this happened before? Like, hey, I want you to go put a bug in the code.
And then I don't know if that one's used.
Delete some.
But it's like just make a random change, and I know the more subtle the better, right? Because then we can see how good your tests are. We can pick up a really super.
It's the roll of the dice, man. Like, did somebody write a test for that?
If this was SQL, you could type.
I changed something, but we'll see.
Why don't you just run the testing? Do you know how to, you see the button down there? It's kind of hidden in the lower left.
This one?
Yeah, you might have to drag it up there to see what's going on. Okay, the test already
Oh,
failed.
I see a failure.
Oh.
And then, okay, so go ahead and click on the map test thing. Let's study the failure a little bit.
Okay.
Because you maybe forgot where it is. It kind of sounds like it.
Dirt equals map dot.
Don't tell us.
No, I'm reading the test.
Oh, okay. Can you open the, is this the failing test?
I think it took me there, right?
Yeah, if you, and then it says expected, not equal.
Oh, okay.
What
Yeah.
was W?
So you did get not equals. So I made the equal class just return true, but you did test the negative. A lot of people forget to test the not equals.
Because, well, and if they write the tests in advance, this is a subtle point. We'll work on that later about writing the tests in advance. So, what's a characteristic of this failure? Like, do you know vaguely where the problem is when you see a test failure like this? Because there's a number of classes, right? Let's imagine it was a big code base with thousands of classes.
If you know the language and you see a certain not equals and it's two classes, you know it's the class equals method.
And what else did this tell you, the test report? What test failed? What's the name of the test?
Oh, test map object only.
So it's telling you, it's kind of telling you where the bug is. It's like at least it narrowed it down from this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes, it told you which class to go start investigating, which is a lot more detailed than you usually have in life when you have a bug report. Right?
I should have written the maps on random.
And it's still time. So,
Are you only doing one test class per class? Yeah, the actual code.
and that's a good, thank you for bringing that up. So that goes back to test design. When somebody says they did TDD, you should be able to easily tell that they got a test for every class that they created, a separate test. And that's kind of a mirror effect. And then you can easily tell what doesn't have a test. Like, oh, for example, map wrapper doesn't have a test, but if you look at it, it's body attendant, so it doesn't matter. What else about test design? Well, so unit tests actually help you debug your software. That's the main point. Where you don't have to use the debugger.
Right.
That was my number one.
Oh. You should tell them that. They might have to add that. So an effective TDD is you're writing an automated test. The tests are helping you debug the code. In life, do you spend a lot of time debugging code, or do you spend a lot of time just writing code?
Depends on who wrote the code.
It does.
So like 50-50. Is it 50-50, or is it worse than that?
I say it's more debugging than anything.
Say that again. It's what?
More debugging than
More
anything.
debugging than anything. Yeah. So and that's in the industry when I work with groups and I survey them on this. It's generally 60% is spent debugging. Maybe 80% spent debugging. There are really not that many people, the ones who do that. So a lot of people spend a lot of time debugging, and TDD will actually reduce your time of needing to debug, because if the test tells you where the problem is, why would you use the debugger? You just go look at the test. You go to the, you look at the test over there, and you say, well, what's the problem? And then you think about it, and then you go into the code, and that helps you narrow it down pretty good. Now, I'm also going to admit to something, that not always is it so pointed like this, but you got a shot. Sometimes when you mutate the code, or in other words, people just inject a defect, it might cause several failures. And so, but no matter what, if you have a large code base, it's going to narrow the scope down quite a bit. All right, cool. All right, so let's go fix the code in map. So something in the cert equals did not work. Turn true. Oh, so there. I think it was even nice. He just commented it out.
Yeah.
All right, and now you can get an automated tool, by the way, called on .NET. I think it's called PIT test. I don't remember PIT. It's a mutation tester, and it's probably a statistical, mathematical reference. I don't recall why it's called PIT test. And then there's another called mutator, but I think that one's the Java one. So now that I think I fixed the bug, what's my next step?
Statistical.
I mean, do you want to just check it in? Yeah, so there we are. So that gives you a fast feedback system. You can do experiments. You can change data structures and then see how things, you can do those things that problems you see in your code. You can just take care of them and be confident that when you run the unit test, that it'll work out. Or it'll tell you it won't work out, and you can think about what that means to you and make adjustments for
Yeah, it's a safety net for refactor.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also why the mocks are a bad idea, because you can refactor successfully, and then your test can break because your mock is assuming implementation.
Yeah. But, and you know, for those, just to like put closure on that, using a lot of mocks is an anti-pattern. Sometimes you need a few, but it's not a lot. Because you really should fix your design instead of having mocks. But sometimes you do need a few. And a few, I'm thinking like 1 or 2% of your tests, not 50%. But if you're working with legacy code,
Sometimes.
There's a lot, there's generally that's where you see a lot more mocks because they have a code base that doesn't have tests. They hire some person like me who's going to add tests or help them add tests, and then we have to like be careful. We can't quite refactor as much as we want to make the code. Well, cool. That's the end of the convincer. So like those folks on the sled, we're trying to give you that ride and that experience because you won't have that just by talking about it. We're trying to give you insight by doing it. So now we're going to find out if you learn more. Okay. So add more reasons if you found more reasons for doing TDD. So go ahead and write down, because this is the contest here. This is the only time you get to add answers to your test. And then we'll see who's the winner. And just put your pencils down when you're thinking about it all that. And then the next part of this, we'll do TDD on a greenfield application, so you get to practice with that. And literally, I'll help people walk up here and do some driving. Okay. Let's see what we got. So here's the answers. They got to be the answers I'm looking for. It's in here. Okay, so here's how you get points. If you got an answer that maps to one of these, give yourself a point. So go ahead and score your sheet. It doesn't have to be word for word, but if it's got the same meaning.
There's one more, right?
Yeah, right. If you have a sentence that incorporates a few of those, then you can figure it out. It's on the other system. I suppose we could do an LLM someday to score.
Technology's not there yet. I think I have one you don't have.
Really? What do you got?
So I put one that is verification of requirements. So for me, like when you write tests, it makes you actually think about the requirements of what you wrote.
That's kind of what I had, right? It makes you think it through a little more. You get to
Did
write
I
the test
solve the
first.
problem?
Yeah.
That's because you do BD. You use
That's true, I do
That
BD.
is designed for exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about. So the reason why that's not in there,
Interesting, yeah.
it's a fair point, but it's not one of the ones. But is because tests document the developer intent. So we're talking about
Unit test.
the unit, the class design, does it function the way I designed it? And in a smaller program like this one, it is a lot easier to work in the functionality because it's small, but in general, it doesn't, unit tests don't scale well for that. However, people do use unit test libraries to do functional testing because we didn't have BDD frameworks at the time, or maybe we just didn't like the BDD frameworks. And so, but that's a different thing. That's a different kind of test. So,
I wrote one that I think is similar to your enable fast design experiments, but I say refactor opportunities have actual value because when Like whenever I feel the urge to refactor something, I only do it if it is testable or if I'm going to make it testable.
Yeah, no, I'd say I
And
agree
it's
with that.
kind
That's
of
a fast
like,
design.
because it enables the experiment.
Yeah, that's the experience.
It's all the way I think about it, because developers are always like, I want to refactor it. And I go,
But I can't, because it might cause a bug and then my manager will get mad at me. Yeah. Why did, they'll say, why did you change that code? And I won't have a good reason other than design. And they won't accept that. So yeah, go ahead and score it. Count up your points and then hold up your hand and how many points you got. We'll see who got the most. So we got 6, we have 0. You're not allowed that. That's not allowed. That, you just crossed it. You're in trouble. Anyone beat 6?
I was gonna say 17.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting.
Hey, you can
6 is pretty good, though.
coverage, right? Yeah. I got 5.
That's 110%. Yeah. What do you record?
This is
All
a
right.
point
All
of
right.
interesting, like, this says reduces manual labor. So like you're associating the idea of debugging with manual labor and the idea of coding with not manual labor. And then,
Or even testing.
yeah, that's an interesting way to
Congrats, man.
phrase it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this, tell you if I think it's real or not.
All right, cool. So we're going to move on to the next step and actually put it to work. When does this session typically end? Is this an hour, 90 minutes? I'm just asking. Am I here for?
So
Is it casual or do you want to like end at a certain time, or what do you want to do here?
So ideally, we want to have everything like done like anywhere from like say 7:30 to 9. You got to window. You got to make window. Just we don't want to be here like past 9. So if you finish like 7:30, 8, whatever, that's fine. Just
Okay.
Yeah. So you got more flexibility.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
To learn some TDD. All right, so we're going to actually do this for reals, and we'll do it in .NET though. My apologies. Oh wait, that's right. That's the other.
Yeah, we're fine with that.
We're doing it in .NET. Sorry. Screw that Java stuff. There we are. And I got to delete something here. Because use a previous build.
Their website's all different.
What are you looking for?
They changed their theme.
Oh.
So here's congratulations, folks. You've been hired for a new job.
Hey, this looks by you.
Yes. All right, new job. Now we're going to go. So you got a new job. Raise your hand if you know Pig Latin. All right, well, we're going to be even more in a minute. So we're going to do a coding dojo. Does anyone know what a coding dojo is?
Is this like tacos or doing?
I don't know what that would.
Katas, like katas. Where you do small coding exercises rapidly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what it is. So we're gonna learn a skill together in this room. This is our dojo, and we're going to use this computer to build a fresh new application. And the skill we're going to learn is TDD. You can do a coding dojo for any topic, but today we're doing TDD. This thing about controls in place to practice the dojo's goal. The main thing is when we're doing TDD, we don't want to get into the deep weeds of like say SQL statements, unless that's the thing we're supposed to learn. So, or we don't want to get deep in the weeds of I don't know, event-driven architecture, unless that's the skill we're there to learn. So this is just about learning TDD. So it's simplified to see if we can at least do TDD in this context. Because if you can't do TDD in a greenfield application with actually relatively challenging business logic, then you're not going to definitely be able to handle on your enterprise app, which is probably legacy code and probably is a lot of design issues where you're going to have to use mocking in order to make it testable. And so this will have an element of repetition because it's like doing push-ups. The more you do, the easier it will be when it gets tough. So we're going to do TDD. Now the job is there's this virtual world out there where these pigs and birds, they just don't get along. I don't know what their problem is. I think it's a communication problem. So we've got a product to settle down, to take it down a notch, to help them communicate with each other and be more peaceful.
I think the birds are just angry.
No, I think there's a well, why are they angry? Because the pigs don't listen to them, or because what's up with that? I don't know. So not everyone speaks Pig Latin well, so we need a tool to help them. And so here's the first user story. As a game player, I need a translator so the pigs can understand me when I speak to them. And we'll start with the easiest slice. So the user stories have been sliced up for you. That's an important skill to have in order to do TDD or anything in software development, is to figure out the smallest step that you can make, the baby step. So here's the first baby step. As a player, I will say hello in Pig Latin, so the pigs believe I'm friendly and will treat me well. And there's my acceptance criteria. Okay? So that's pretty easy to remember. Let me switch over to Writer, and let's start. So, what's the name, so we're doing test-driven development, right? There's no code there. So in order to write a test, we have to make a decision about something. Type this in, see if this helps. I'm going to add a file. I have to type in the name of a file.
Class name.
I need a class name.
Right.
So what is this class going to be called?
Translator.
Sounds good, though.
Pig Latin translator.
That could work. We're already in a context of Pig Latin project, though.
So just translator.
Maybe. Yeah.
Or both Pig Latin and Pig Latin.
Now you're thinking of method name. So class, well, it's a fair point, and so class names generally are nouns, and then method names are generally verbs. Translator. And then I'm writing a test, right? So I can't just leave it to translator. I have to put the word test on it. That's the first step. So when you go back to your job tomorrow, oops, I almost did job. Oh my God, is it C# like that?
CS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing
Tony's
this
gonna
live
laugh at me. I've been working in Java on my last project, so.
I'm sorry.
Don't make me talk about JavaScript again.
I go back and forth all the time.
So, okay, so we have a translator test and translator. So now we need start thinking about the verbs, because I'm going to declare a test method. So I'm going to type test, by the way, I'll just write that. And then so I need to tell it what I'm going to test now, right? This is where I need a method name. So what's a good method for a translator?
Translate.
Well, I was gonna say like two, yeah, what you said. Two Pig Latin.
Pig Latin. So that's the method I'm going to test, and we're going to, in the scenario is we're just working on hello right now. So I favor the underbar. You can do whatever, it doesn't matter.
In C#, you're going to want a square bracket around the word test and no @ sign.
Oh my god. Big.
And instead of test, it's actually going to be fact. Assuming you're using
I mean-
X unit.
Is it fact? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I see it's not coming out.
Or theory.
Well, he doesn't like that.
Alright, I gotta pull it in. Using Indian framework.
Oh, and you? It might be
Yeah,
fact.
I think it's test.
It might be test, yeah.
There it is.
There it is, yeah.
Was it X?
The other one, yeah.
That's X unit.
X unit, which is pretty cool too, right?
Yeah.
They don't have like a strong.
Like is it back in the question?
They only matter when you get in the weeds.
And the other thing we're gonna use today is should we. See if I remember it. I'm not gonna remember the packaging.
Should.
So, Shoodly is just a fancier, it's actually really nice. I don't mean to diminish it by saying it's just, but you can do work with just any unit or you can add in things to make it a little bit more readable. So, we've got our verb, and now we gotta create the thing we're gonna test. Translate equals translator, translator, and then I guess we'll do this for now. We're gonna get back a.
What hello was your example?
All right, I'm ruined over whether strings are temple words or not. So, actually, I just English word. Oh no, pick Latin word. So it's gonna be pick word equals translator dot translate. No,
Or
to
to
Latin. And we're gonna pass in string. And we can generate this code. Create a type. Create. Oh wow, that did not put it on the spot at all. Usually this apparently it's not going. If I create the type, oh, maybe I click the nested type. No, that's not. That's weird. I usually get. Am I missing something?
I don't ever do it this way, but I'm not. Yeah, you're trying to make it so it does it in another way.
Yeah, I want to generate the code for me.
That would be.
Yeah. I mean, Visual Studio automatically let you go to a different file.
I swear to gosh, this one's in too, but I'm not having a good day.
Yeah, maybe.
Not a nested type. I think it's actually bugged because it's creating a nested type, unless it means nested in a separate function. But
Or nested inside it. I you know.
that's weird. Anyways, I'm gonna do it this way. Usually your IDE will have.
Well, and maybe because you don't have a test project different from your.
I don't see that as usually an issue. Yeah. All right, and then if I go back to here, using another package together. I got one more. Let's see, the translator added automatically. Yeah, Dave's case. I'm sorry. So at home, I'm working on a Python project for that. For work, I'm working on Java. Let's see here. And then now, I'm going to get the right behavior, right? I don't have to actually. So I'm trying to demonstrate to you that your IDE will actually help you generate this code if you write the test first. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I got to write the code first. No, you go generate it from your test. And now it knows what's going on. Since we've got our decisions. And my test isn't done though, because right now I have something that Tony was talking about. I have a test with assertions.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Big word. Oh, there you go. Big time.
It's getting too easy. Okay, should be.
I would have been really impressed if the AI actually translated it. That would have been impressive.
It actually, you're right. It didn't actually get it right. did it?
Yeah. I'm surprised it didn't, to be honest.
Especially since I've been working on this, it didn't remember. Yeah, no, that's actually a bad thing. It didn't remember. All right, cool. So is my test done?
Is that the real translation?
No, it shouldn't
okay.
be. You don't want to test the fail.
Oops, I'm missing something.
But yeah, you're talking about red-green testing. Yeah.
What other kind of testing is there? If you're doing TDD.
True.
Start with a failing test.
Okay, so is this test ready?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it should have you choke and give you a nice test failures. Assuming you get the test project, it's going to be to see. Looks good. There you go. See.
All right, so the test failed. I worked pretty hard at it. I think it's time for me to hand it off now to somebody else. So I need a volunteer to come up and get the test to pass. My job's done. So somebody come up. We'll help you. Don't worry.
Do it.
We'll roll a chair over too. That might make it easier too.
I just started learning tester development.
Sweet, good.
Let's see how much you learn.
Yeah, I'm a student from UH Venkat, one of the professors teaching tester development.
Oh, good then.
Venkat's Supervisor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is functional talk and functional Java.
Yeah.
A few months back, he's great.
I took his programming language class, his software design class.
Yeah,
Here's
I'm
my
in that
old
class
design.
right now.
Yeah.
Have
He
we
turns you to a real developer.
He's great.
He grades you by your tests. It's,
Smart.
he's
That's
interesting.
exactly the right answer. Because if your tests look good, your coach will be fine. So you should stop reviewing code and only review tests. And then when your team, someone in your team has, here's the test, and it's a blank sheet of paper, you're like, go back to write the test.
That's an easy grade. Yeah.
have we written our canary test?
So
No, you have to make the test pass.
there's a test fail
Yeah.
already. So you just need to figure out how to make the test pass.
Yeah.
And you want to go to translator and add the code. So you have a room full of smart people here, so don't feel like you have to figure it out all on your own.
Sorry, I haven't written C#.
So,
I don't look like I have either.
Pig Latin must turn like the vowels into something. Is that what Pig Latin does?
Yeah, it looks like it's supposed to.
There's a lot of rules. And
Yeah, like that's what we're doing right now. We have to reverse engineer the rules of Pig Latin.
It's on the slides.
Oh, okay.
It'll walk us through those details.
Okay.
You don't have to remember. So yeah, figure out how to do the easiest thing that makes that test pass.
Well, like,
Nothing's too cheesy. What's the easiest thing?
Oh yeah,
keep
yeah.
returning what it's
Yeah,
supposed
exactly.
to do.
Yeah.
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 Copy pasta.
You're doing that, right? And then,
Yeah. And then you go run the test. The tests are in the lower right corner. Just hit one of those play buttons or something.
yeah, is it this one right here?
Yeah, that'll do.
And boom.
All right, huzzah! You got the first
You
one
win
passed.
TDD.
Now you want to try the next, want to write the test for the next one and hand off to the next person, perhaps? So the next one is,
Translate banana.
so there's when you get an empty string,
Throw an exception.
throw an exception.
I get you.
That one's actually a little hard, but it's okay. So,
Are all of our test cases going inside this function?
that's a good question. What do you think would be the best way?
The way we're doing it right now, we've been doing tester development on Wordle. The way Venkat's been teaching us is to have each test be its own function, so that whenever it fails, you know which test is failing. So I was thinking about putting it in another function.
Do it.
In this case, it's an OO. I don't know Wordle. Is it OO paradigm or is it functional or what?
We did it in a functional way, so we did it all functional stuff.
My recommendation here is just you're testing translator.
Yeah.
So you should keep just adding more tests into this one.
Got it.
Because in an OO language that makes sense. In a different context, it'll be a little different. But put it in a new test function. Maybe that's what your question is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like
Okay, no, that's a good point. So we should
Yeah.
So this test is done. It says it did its job. It turned hello into Pig Latin. So now we just need to write a new test. you wouldn't want to add to this test because you're going to have a giant one test eventually that there's so many different things.
In X unit, you do one.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In X unit, you would do one function because you'd write a theory,
Oh, right.
and then you parameterize the test, and you give each theory a name.
Oh, okay. And you can do the same thing in NUnit as well. It's
Yeah.
called parameterizing tests.
Oh, should I was gonna solve it.
No, I just speak fishy.
I was gonna solve it, but does somebody want to come up and try?
Well, why don't you write the test and then you can guide if you, yeah, and then. So okay, you're gonna need some help with this one. So this is a little weird. When you're gonna test that you get back an exception, and exceptions aren't just like variable return. There's some weird syntax, and I need to see if I can remember myself. So I'm gonna help you with this somewhat because this
But there should be a should throw exception,
exactly there is.
or there's a cert dot throws.
Yeah, if Python we do raise value error, I've been programming in Python.
Exception. I think it just throws exception. It's giving me. It's not helping me as well as it should be. Also,
Now do assert.
oh, thank you. I think that's right. I think I'm not doing it to
Dot. There you go, on the type. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Would it be a value error or would it be a what kind of error would it be?
I feel like.
Just throws.
Yeah, I think you're puzzled by that. It's actually not the way I remember it, so I'm not arguing with it. Throws dot.
It's probably a
Should be
lambda.
like there should be. There will be a lambda. Something's not right. Okay, I'm gonna do Google. You're gonna have to do it because I don't.
Oh no, you mean the exception type? Yeah, put it in there.
Yeah, but it's not. They don't have the.
Invalid operation exception.
And we need it. Want to test.
Google.
Return exception. Test that exception. Tony already has this in his head. But Tony, how come you're not helping us?
What are you trying to do?
I'm failing to remember the syntax for capturing an exception.
No, that you have it right, but you put a lambda inside the parentheses there. So do another set of parentheses in the parentheses, and then an equals arrow, and then you write your test code.
It's still not the way I remember it, but it might be another way, right? So,
I'm
it's okay.
mostly
You're
sure.
gonna learn. And
We also want the type just to make sure it throws the correct type too, right?
yeah, that's why I think
Yeah.
it's failing. That's why I remember.
That's why it's
that
red. So open your brackets and then put exception or whatever.
There should be a type. And illegal argument.
What
That's
about
the standard one. Or is it argument exception? Argument exception. Okay. I'm gonna get out of the way. I'm sorry, I did most of the typing, but I literally have to put my fingers on it.
I've never done C#
So
before.
give that a try and see if it passes.
What's Venkat have you doing these days?
Right now I'm doing Python right now.
Right.
We get to choose our language, so I choose Python.
I did closure.
When were you in school then?
20. Venkat's class I did in 2010, maybe 2011.
Like I said, closure around. Okay, yeah.
The test is working, I think. Yeah, it's saying
It's
No, it's not
It's
running.
not running the.
You have to put a test above it.
See the. Oh yeah.
See how it's grayed out and you
Gotcha.
can use.
Gotcha.
Everyone did closure in 2010. That was the thing to do.
Is closure ever the thing to do?
In 2010 it was. It was the cool new thing to do in Java because we were all sick of Java.
Yeah, that's.
You can run a Lisp language on the JVM.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like
So you
got it.
That's why code was not very
Yeah,
good.
the keyboard is a little funky.
That's
Yeah,
a whole
no, it's
different
because I don't
thing.
type in US.
Oh, really?
I left you in.
totally fine. Alright, now let me see if it works. Alright, there you go. Now it fails.
Because if the test doesn't fail and you expect it to fail, you have questions to ask yourself, like, what's happened?
So now it's failing. So does anybody want to help come up and help solve it?
Class.
Yeah.
Have any?
So this is called ping pong programming. Is somebody writes the test, somebody else writes the code, and then if you're pair programming, you can swap roles.
Exception does not have a stack trace.
It just didn't get an error. It needs code to return an exception when it's a bad argument.
Yeah, it's not worth this sharp no matter, so.
You might have put it above the return, otherwise you're in good shape. Because if you hit the return first, it'll be, yeah. I don't know what's going on. Just hit enter. Looks like he's getting in trouble.
Oh, yeah,
Why is
it's
that
like
kind
Yeah.
probably pretty sensitive.
I'm not sure how to tell.
I just wiped out the.
Your bracket down.
You lost your bracket, yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
We have to throw an exception.
Yeah, so you want to do an evaluation, like if the string is empty,
Okay, so this.
or if you have a different string.
Okay, so
Is there guard statements in English? Is there guard statements in C#?
There are.
Yes, yes.
So the length of the.
But you know, it's in the programmer's decision.
Well, if you want to, he's open. I think he opened up trying other stuff.
Okay, yeah, so if the loadout length is equal to 0, then you just throw an exception. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is mock programming. So this is anybody can say, hey, I have a idea how to improve it. You could wait till the test passes and then come in and refactor it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do here like argue an exception dot throw or assert.
I mean, an exception.
Yeah, there it is.
What's up, the first one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can get rid of your if statement.
Oh, interesting.
That's what he meant by a guard
Oh, okay.
piece of code.
Nice.
It's doing the if inside of that.
Okay, so we can just remove the statement.
Mhm.
Check the test.
It's red though. It's red.
It's red? Oh.
Put the try putting the variable in the parentheses.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's run this test. There you go.
There we go. Nice.
So, and then, let's see here. Should we do any code cleanup? Like, maybe go back and look back there and think about. So after a while, you want to think about how do you improve the design. So maybe take a look and see, you know, do you want to like get some extra white space? Otherwise, oh, and the parameter name. So when using IntelliSense, what should the parameter be?
I was gonna suggest. Well, it says hello right now, right? I was suggesting maybe just make it Word, just because it's more general and that it's a broader area of things that can be included.
It's called 2 Pig Latin. How can you constrain it even more than Word? So we're gonna put like deep. We're trying to go for some deep meaning here. Like
Word,
we could just.
word to translate?
Word is good, but like what language is it?
Oh, English to translate.
English.
Because we put in Swahili, maybe the rules are different, or we put in Chinese, the rules are different.
Yeah. Is putting the curly braces beneath the function, is that just more preference, or is that something that is expected in C#?
That's the Microsoft C# way.
And you want just the .NET standard is you start your variable with a lowercase e on English word.
Lowercase.
Let's go ahead here.
And then you can.
Yeah, make the E lowercase in the first
Yeah.
C#.
If you
Oh.
use the context menu, you can get some help. It'll fix your. So like go like when I say context menu, do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, so it's the right mouse button click, but on a trackpad. Let me show you. So when you're on a trackpad, you just do this.
Oh.
but actually I'm suggesting that you come here. There it is. And go to refactor and rename. And then it'll update all the text for you. So you just need to change the spelling in that one spot. And it'll.
What were we saying?
Maybe camel case.
Oh, wait, count it. Oh, okay.
There you go, yeah.
Next.
We have a few people at our company that teach like IDE hacks.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's an obsession among us.
Yeah.
I was like, shift F2, shift.
Oh wow. That is. That's okay, I think. I don't know if you want. Oh, it updated your parameter name because you mentioned it down there. Oh, cool. Interesting. Yeah, well, let's run that test. See what it does. Yeah, I've seen VI developers try to challenge how few steps it takes. Like, I can do that in 5 steps.
Yeah.
And other people go, yeah, I can do it too. All right, cool. Do you want to queue up the next test, the failing test case?
Sure.
And the next one is if it gets a null, it does the same.
Okay.
Interesting. Interesting. You know, I'm looking at you.
I
I don't know. I guess our
think the same way.
our mental we're not communicating mentally, but that code we added actually covered 2 cases.
It did, yeah.
And we only had to write a test for 1, so we broke our red green factor system. Interesting. Yeah.
But the other option wasn't an option on the guide.
Oh, you did go for Chinese. He's going like, I'm up for the challenge. It's weird how you can have different shortcuts for changing the language, but no matter what, they always get hit in inconvenient times. Like no matter what keystroke I put it in.
You can type in Chinese.
Yeah, I was in China 7 years.
Wow.
So I have a Chinese edition of that book you got.
Yeah.
So if you ever go over there, you want to read the same book in Chinese.
So will this also be another exception test? Or?
Yeah, because see, you're documenting what happens when blank, and now you're documenting what happens when it's null. And you may want to like, I'll let you write the test and talk about it.
Almost.
So what's happening?
You got the right idea, just the angle brackets go outside. Oh, you definitely have the right track. That's definitely right idea.
So it says it when you do a shift control P, and I'm pretty sure you didn't get that. It's,
What's your other keyword you don't have to ask for that one? Starts with the D.
oh, Dvorak.
Is it what language?
It's so Dvorak is an efficient, more efficient than a query layout. So why did I do that? Is because a long time ago when I was software developing and writing at home, I realized my hands are going to be. I have coworkers with bad, carpal tunnel. And I thought, whoa, I don't want to have to be like that because I'm doing a lot of typing. So I learned Dvorak because it's better for it reduces the amount of motions that your hands do.
They have variants of Dvorak now for different programming languages.
Like, tell me more.
They have a Dvorak optimized for Java versus a Dvorak optimized for Ruby.
Is that like the copy paste is in a more optimal situation, or what would
Well, because standard Dvorak, you still do have the semicolon on the home row, right?
Yeah.
So in the Ruby version, I think it does colon by default.
So I can't actually mentally think about wording.
Yeah.
I just feel it.
Forgot to really.
For some reason, I feel like it's a pinky, but no, I get your
Read
point.
it inside.
The only key that doesn't change is
Actually,
the
that
rate,
exception.
and maybe one other.
Because it's
Yeah.
row that's sort of captured.
Yeah.
You forgot the second part.
I only know because I tried to learn Dvorak. And I just could never make it stick.
It takes a week.
A week.
You have to practice it. So I practiced it at home, didn't use it at work for a week until I.
So that's good. And you have one more thing you need to
You
adjust.
see how online you can one it has like the two.
Oh, I see.
There we go.
And the test failed. fail. Value cannot be null. Interesting. That's good. Now I feel better.
Did it really fail?
Because, go ahead, you see that we expected the test to pass.
That's right.
Do you know why it failed?
Because we're always
Oh!
expected to get an English word.
Because of what?
Are we always expected to get an English word?
By
Yeah.
accident, yeah. If you
Yeah.
click on the stack trace, you can go to the line that caught you the exception.
That's funny.
This is why TV is cool, because it teaches you something that you probably wouldn't have caught. It's that dumb mistake that you would have spent like hours solving later. So if you double click on, it's another trick. So if you scroll, so this is the line that caused the exception. Sorry, I can't see the pointer. Oh, the assert that failed. Oh, there it is. So we have to back a little bit more. So this line, so what? Think about what happens if that's null. I think that's why it failed.
No, so like it is expecting
It's no.
argument null exception versus argument exception.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So it's very semantically hard to catch.
So what is the slide want?
Go look at the actual assertion failure in the message.
Just throw
Exception.
it doesn't care. So you can decide. You got a no pointer exception.
No, it expected argument exception. The actual exception was argument null exception.
Okay. Right. And so the requirements were just to throw an exception.
Yeah.
So I'm asking the developer now, you get to decide which kind of exception you want.
It could probably be a null exception.
I probably would roll with it and just give it the thing it's giving you is argument. Yeah, exactly what you said. Because you get this convenient functionality that's already built into the .NET framework, so why not roll with it? Because again, it's meeting the requirement is to have an exception. So just change it to argument null. So in this case, your test specification is incorrect. Except now you're okay. You're doing the opposite.
So there's an interesting way to fix this.
He wants an argument. This is going to return an argument exception or an argument null. I'm sorry. I'm going too fast.
So if you go to the test,
yeah, that's what I thought we would do. Yeah.
So according to your requirements, everything's correct.
Yeah.
So instead of throws, there's one called throws any.
Okay.
And so go to the failing test.
Well,
And
it could be throws in here, or it could just put in the new exception that the system is giving.
that's why it's the choice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's an any.
Does that make sense? Because I don't want you to just like do the change without
Yeah,
understanding.
I understand.
Okay.
It's officially throws.
So you just need to change what's in the.
Oh no, this is a
See the angle
Ending.
brackets? Say argument exception?
Oh, yeah.
You just need to update that.
yeah. I forgot this is any.
Don't tell me you're in another room.
No.
Are you able, is the keyboard? Why? I gotta like change it. That's just crazy. I feel like there's something like, oh, this button. See this button with the world on it?
Oh, okay.
That's like on the iPhone. You can see how it changes it.
Oh.
That's probably should disable it. It's too easy to hit. Because I hit it too.
So should we argument any exception or no exception?
No.
No. There you go.
So you're just agreeing with what it's okay, great job. You're agreeing what your strategy is to not write more code than you have to, because nobody cares what kind of exception. It just needs to be an exception. And the system conveniently is already creating an argument null exception, so you're just going to accommodate what it's doing.
Well, so you said you're a Python developer?
But yeah.
So the finding is this makes no sense to him in a way because he's a Python developer, and this is a very C# problem.
Cool. You got the test to pass.
Because in Python
Do
is
you want to write the next one, or do you want something?
I'll let someone else write that.
Okay, we need a new volunteer. All right, come on up. We got all the slide, that first slide done now. So the next slide is, and here's a hint, it gets harder as you go. So if you're like, yeah, these are too easy, wait longer. So here, maybe just pick one of those, can and say, and write a test. What? Huh? What was that about?
No, I'm trying to see if I can figure pig Latin out.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, he's doing the smart way. It's like, I'm gonna leverage my existing body knowledge.
Well,
Can, C-A-N. People are getting shift twice in a row. That
Can
causes
say?
that problem.
I think I get it.
Just, you could say, here's what I would suggest, is just can, just leave it as can, and then the assumption, I mean, there's a context here, we're sort of assuming everything means translate.
Yeah.
Or you could be verbose, which is okay too, to say translate can. So, I'm good with that. If your product is all about translation, I don't think you need to get yourself too busy. And C, it's gonna be A-N-C-A-Y. And say. And just hit run.
But you need the test thing.
Yeah. You gotta add a test. Is that what
Attribute.
Yeah.
you? There you go. And you run the test.
What's a hockey square?
Hit that play button in the lower left.
The top
There
one
you
will
go,
run them all,
there.
which works.
Yeah, that one there. Shit. All right, you got a failing test. So now you want to pick a volunteer. Do you have a friend here you want to like
Throw under the bus.
throw the bus? So are we? By the way, does everyone recognize that we're doing test driven? Like, have you seen that we're writing a test before we change the code?
Wait, it's real big.
Yeah.
Variations.
I think I understand.
It's developing though, so it's just like all software. It's never perfect the first time, and the first thing we just did translate is hello, and now we're translating, and there will be some inconsistencies that will be ironed out later.
So it moved the first letter to N and then added a Y. I need to see the PowerPoint.
Maybe your turn next.
Well, I'm now more curious if I can figure out pig Latin before you tell us the rules.
Oh, I see.
Big one, I don't know.
They don't have it.
I apologize sometimes to you because just go through a cancer treatment and then just start to so go to
Cheers, it's a good meeting you.
Good night.
nice to meet you and
It's about 7:30, like you said. So now,
Maybe a switch thing.
who said that?
It needs.
So why should you use a switch thing? Let's talk about that.
No, actually,
I think there's string switches now.
So the answer.
if you
It's a
don't
trick
know,
question. It's a trick question.
if you know the rules, you should write down the rules. But right now, we don't know what the rules
It is the smallest amount of code to write.
It's a small amount of code, yeah.
But did you see the slide had a lot of words on it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's a diction- it's a
So if you look ahead on the slide, there's like 7 translations.
Go back to the slide.
Yeah.
But you said he's only working on this one piece, right? So it's the smallest
it's-
amount.
okay.
It's the smallest amount of code.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is easy.
The right answer is it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have to think about the future.
Well, as we add more, then we find
High
that
quality,
the
okay.
smallest amount of code is what generalizes. But right now, we do the simplest thing that could possibly work. And we're like, wait, what's number 3? This is way too much work. Now we have to figure out the pattern general.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But hold on, I'm like worried about refactor.
So you would
this
put
and
all
that.
these
Yeah.
all these as assertions in your method now, I guess.
Well, you have a couple of choices. So
Yeah.
that one's complicated.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the more assertions you burden yourself, the more distracted you are as a developer, and slower it may turn out to be. Or you may pull it off. It's sort of like a, I probably, no matter how smart I think I am, sometimes I think, damn it, it took longer because I added too many tests, and you can't help it. You know that you have like 3 tests that are failing, and you try to fix all of them at once in one step, and it makes you take big steps. So
You got this.
Well, in
This is
production, but Siri originally was, most of the tests were, I heard were hard coded.
Well,
The question,
well, the main thing is just like working in small steps and not worrying about like jumping too far ahead. Like people start talking about, well, we use the switch statement. It's just like, that's not the time to have the discussion. We get into refactoring, we have let's get the baby steps and not, worry about solving the problem. That's kind of things, like really working in small enough increments. And you're right, like context kind of tells you what's the right increment, you gotta use your judgment, but keep the focus on a small increment and then.
Shouldn't you think about the future, like to make it like, maybe put more effort, if you put more effort right now, make it faster in the future to do development, instead of focusing about just.
I'm ready.
This is the whole point of like doing like a good software, is to think about the design, so instead of
Do you want us to
thinking
show
about
code
it.
at you yet?
Sorry, we're having 2 conversations. Are you adding to his, or is this a
No,
different thing?
I'm
Okay.
ready to solve.
So, okay, I'm not sure how to answer your question. I thought about it and I lost it. So you said, how far do you think ahead? So for me, because I'm I can easily think about a switch statement being a dead end pretty fast. I wouldn't use the switch statement. That's the short answer. So, and even then, you could still use an if else if you really wanted to go down that route, but I still wouldn't do it. I would try to accommodate
So you would see the
without
pattern.
adding too much complexity, and I feel like, yeah. I feel like the amount of work to do the switch statement is actually about as many characters as to solve.
I think it's more characters.
It's probably, yeah,
Oh,
you're right
maybe.
on.
It's at least close enough that
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you see the pattern, if you don't see the pattern, the switch statement makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you know the pattern and you can see
It's
it,
obviously gonna get long.
just
Obviously.
don't try to add in more functionality than you need. Like
So
we
to-
accidentally did with the assert, we kind of ended up with a little more functionality, but it was a convenience function. It's easy to forget about.
You can use do you see the pattern?
Yeah, I see a pattern, like the last word is moving to the back and
Yeah.
it's adding AOA to the end.
Yeah. You can do. Wait, are you C# developer? Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend just like do whatever comes most naturally to you for now. I mean, we're gonna get there because the thing is the problem itself is gonna force us into the right solution. I'm just kind of like, if you're not really into C# and you're just kind of up in front of a bunch of people, maybe just do whatever comes easiest and.
Well, we can help too.
So wait, what's funny is in
type
Python.
var. He's getting distracted because we don't have a Python. We don't
I
have
don't
a
think it's Python.
We're at 7:30, man. He's gonna kick us out soon. We're gonna be.
Well, actually,
We gotta beat the Northern .NET group to get more testing done. We gotta at least get to the next slide to do that.
So Lance, don't worry, Michael's actually higher up on the food chain than I am. So basically, if anyone's gonna do the kicking, it's gonna be him.
So type in, you got a var. Okay, var, first letter, and
Python.
yeah, var.
Yeah.
You wanna get the first letter,
Exactly.
right? It's like, oh, this is
More fun.
var space, type the
Super
word
expressive
first letter.
Python, yeah.
Or whatever word you want, but this is my suggestion. There you are. And then, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
But now move that past that's great code, but you gotta put it between the return and the argument exception code. You gotta move that line.
I mean, it probably just wants to overcomplicate it. It's not these languages.
And
And
then, what do we push?
I was like,
So that'll be your first
so
letter.
now can I do this?
And now you wanna get the rest of the word
You can actually.
in a var as well. So do var.
Oh, but
And then, what you call the rest of the word?
I know.
Without its first letter. Just come up with an idea.
This is sophisticated code, that's like.
Maybe think of word parts, so you could call it a root or word part, I don't know,
part 2.
egg part, something like that. Whatever you decide. There you go, type in end part. And then equals,
I was trying to remember what they call
and
space
then,
balls.
but actually you just have to hit tab and think about it, see if it looks right. That's not quite right. So there's a
It's funny because
there's
that's the
a
wrong
.NET feature
programming language.
that will help you if you in the square bracket you put a 1 dot dot. So it's like slicing in Python if you're a Python developer. But
JavaScript too is kind of the same thing. You deal with string.
Well, and
then
Python.
get rid of everything else. Delete the other. You want the 1 dot dot. That was good. Sorry, you're deleting too much now. So you want to type in English word square bracket 1 dot dot and then insert that. Did you make your point?
Huh? No, we're just like, we're all crazy ways of doing it, just because it's kind of almost like a game, not like.
I'm like, I can do this in Leap. What's the oldest C# code I can do this in? Like which is tile way back in time. You know, what's the 1995 C#?
Let's just change the language.
Yeah.
Well, because what you just did is very new. Like that you couldn't have done that a year ago, right?
And I'm always thinking about, how did you just enforce, you know?
Well, I figured I just missed out on it. I just discovered that one today, by the way.
No, that one's brand new.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's 9 maybe. The version 9.
I actually forgot until you just did it. C# had that. Yeah.
Cool. I think you got it. Let's run the test and find out. You might want to. Okay. Test failed. Oh no.
Oh, these are the previous, we have regressions, we have regressions.
Yeah.
But was can they?
Can't say it was.
Oh,
my bad. That's why we have tests though. Look at that.
Got it, yeah.
Look at that.
You just saved yourself a bunch of time because it only took you how many seconds to figure that out?
You didn't have to use the debugger. You didn't have to.
Yeah, that's a goal right over there.
Beautiful.
That's what it's all about.
So if you want to beat the North.NET group,
Those Akka people, we don't know talk about them.
they used a switch statement, by the way.
I know.
There was some switch statement rebels in that group. If you want to add more, we can go, or if you want to wrap, that's fine. It's whatever you guys want to do. Want to add more? It's up to you guys. It's your dojo.
What do y'all want, folks? I mean, again, we got the space up until 9. What do y'all think? Y'all are attendees here.
Don't worry, I don't want to be here till 9, but I'll be here till 8.
I'm leaving in 5 minutes, but y'all can stay as long as you want.
I'm good now, but I forgot about the rule. It starts with the what's the word I'm looking for?
A vowel.
A vowel. Yes, thank you. What's the rule? It starts with a vowel, right?
Oh, it's the next slide.
If it's Apple.
It's the next slide. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. I just forgot that rule.
If I tell you, it'll spoil some things, though.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
never mind.
this has designed in traps, so it'll come out.
Right, because that would be an issue right there. I know that's
Go
going
to
to
the
fail.
next slide. We can talk about it.
You're gonna spoil it? Yeah, okay, that's all right.
Well, the next is when you add more cases, you kind of break something. That's kind of an important thing to see as part of the process. So maybe do one more slide with the vowels.
But yeah, because that would break it. Definitely, it's going to break that rule. Yeah.
Let's do a vowel. Let's do at least a vowel case and just see what happens. Okay. Yeah, I think it's very
I
valuable.
want you to write a test for vowel, and then you can hand out to somebody.
Yeah, the Apple.
This is the .NET media. We do not do that.
Hey, it runs on Macs now, just fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's actually running on the back right now.
Oh, I didn't even notice. All my servers are in Linux now. It's fantastic.
Sweet. Are they on ARM?
No.
Oh, I got another level now. A little cheaper.
On Azure, maybe. Well, I don't know.
No, in general. It could
In
use less
general.
energy. I don't know about Azure prices, but
I don't think they give ARM options. Not that I remember, at least.
Yeah, there's a option for ARM.
That passes, but that's not the actual rule.
Yeah.
That's going to pass.
Yeah, let's go to the next slide. Look at the rule for vowels.
Oh, that's amazing, though. It'll pass.
Yeah, because
yes. Oh, yes, it will.
Yeah.
And then there's a new requirement that I.
But see, and that's where you see where you can make a mistake, right? In your mind, it works, and that's right.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't. You're breaking a rule. You haven't written a rule for it, Or you haven't updated your code, put it like
What's
that.
a word that breaks it?
Hey, follow me.
Oh, any Apple. Anything starts with Apple, Igloo, anything starts with
Igloo. Let's do igloo.
Well, Apple's a great.
Well, no. I mean, it would still work in this case.
What's
We haven't covered our logic for.
We haven't covered the logic for the valves, right? For starting with the valve.
Apple starts with a valve.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't the right.
But the logic isn't there on the front end for the valve.
It's a false positive.
It's a false
Well,
positive.
then what's one that
Where
breaks
is
it?
it? Well, what's this false positive stuff? It's a true positive. It's what this spec out.
What word
Right.
will,
See.
what word will fail the test?
Out. Is that?
It's okay. Is that the wait? There's no valves. Yeah, let's go to the valve.
He wants to break gonna break out the. Might as well do quality. That's another good one.
I mean, that's.
Do quality. Do quality.
That's gonna work. That's not it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, like the next slide over.
Oh.
Yeah, let's go to the next slide over. I'm in smells of rats. Let's go to the next slide over.
All right. Right, you want to do what?
There we go.
There we. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you
See, that's what
ship,
Apple's
you ship the
supposed to do.
software, and then you got your requirements.
So
Yeah.
8.
No, I don't even know what I got. No, my Hey, on it. I need my duck. That's my mobile rubber ducky. You'll have one soon.
I want this stuff.
No, that's you talk to him when you have problems. What's wrong with my clothes?
I can see
You
that.
can write as you can write if you want. It's up to you. I don't.
Yeah, like,
Huh?
Yeah. Oh, he's been there all the time.
It's up to you. If you want to like tackle
I believe.
all vowels, you could write.
He doesn't teach
Translate
it
vowels.
He didn't when I did either.
Really?
It was all remote.
Or if
Even in 2010.
It's up to you. Whatever you want.
I just right
So,
before he came out,
He was pointing out, he was asking me if he should just write one for all vowels. And I said, well, it's up to you. And generally the phenomenon is you tend to take bigger chunks when you're more confident and you've got the first pieces together because you already have something working. If you write your very first test, you bite off a whole bunch of things, you get a terrible, terrible idea. Always bite off little pieces because you know the least. But after you've been developing more and more tests, you can even say, well, you know what? I might just write one test method that tests all of those steps in one test method, so I can call it vowels, and that's okay. It's kind of like a confidence test. Try it out, see how it goes, and you can always back up and take some out if you find out you're distracting yourself.
Yeah. That's usually when you get into trouble when you kind of take this really big bite and you know, kind of like, oh.
Yeah. Like the first test could have been hello and testing all of the edge cases of error, and then you're thinking about a bunch of stuff and you're making it.
Yeah, I'd recommend just sticking with the Apple example, changing those, and then I'll be generalized. But it's totally up to you, but like keep it like as simple as possible for you, right? All of it is supposed to be like very simple, very incremental.
That's
Very intuitive. At some point becomes very intuitive, like a good calculus, right? If you have to think too much, then probably. So yeah, so
what's on your mind right now?
Yeah.
You want?
Looping, like looping on the word, and if it's a vowel, like keeping in its place.
Why are you thinking about? You're supposed to be writing the test, right? So that's the first step.
Always do the test, get your failure.
So that's a good point.
and then
When
think about how to fix
he was
it.
thinking about the product code and trying to plan ahead, but he didn't even have the test done. So
Yeah.
you'll get yourself caught and freeze faster if you don't knock off. Just knock off the easy things.
Well, there are like the 3 laws of TDD, right? Never write code without a failing test, where you only write as much code as needed to pass the test. Rinse, lather, repeats.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you got it.
So,
And if you want to make less work, you can also just redo the example for Apple, right? Because it has Apple there, you're ready to test it. Right? I'm just saying it's less typing for you.
I know. But if you give him more decision, you're gonna freeze him up.
Forget I said it.
Let him get in his flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You can just run it. Run the test. All right. Do you want to hand off or do you want to tap?
Any volunteers?
I get.
Yeah.
So we do. Let's see, we got that first letter. We need to check if it is a vowel first. So. How we do this?
Alright.
Is it
Now the only problem is it's pushing you to make more code than you have tests for.
So look.
Go ahead and reduce it down to
Translator.
what you have tests for.
What I have this for? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not test driven at that point and you'll.
Email me.
So you're saying just cut the
Yeah.
enumeration down here?
Yeah. Right. And then, yeah, and this gives you a chance to assess whether this strategy works well before you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So did everyone notice that the code complete's pretty smart nowadays, and it says, oh, I know what you're doing, and it gave them a whole set of vowels, but if you make a set there,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
test
yeah.
driven now. You have extra code that you
Yeah.
don't test for.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you don't see the test ever fail, you don't know if it really works.
Yeah, this was fun.
All right, awesome. Next time.
Take care of it.
So, yeah, I guess. English word. Is it just a vowel name? A-Y.
Ready to run the test?
Yeah, just ignore that. Yeah. Here.
Yeah, go ahead. So it says failed to do 8. So if you click on it, what's it say? It says over there it should be 8 AY, what was TAY?
English. Should be.
So line 13, there's a little bit of a mistake there.
Oh, okay, so where did English word?
So
No function.
line 13, you have your first letter in there, you don't want that. You're moving the first letter.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You just delete the first letter.
Yeah. I'm not used to the deleting back. Should be AT.
So the AY is it?
Oh, okay. So I think what's happening here is the English word's it's taking off the. Is it stripping the
So
first letter?
you fix the problem, and vowels contain first letter, and then I don't think the test really ran. Could you try that again?
Right.
That's
Should be a build error.
Yeah.
So,
right.
so there is a difference between single quotes and double quotes in C sharp.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Single
Yeah.
quotes, yeah, it's.
Why am I seeing
Yeah.
that?
Well, it's because at first I only had Y. It was my fault. At first I had Y, and then I
Why
changed it
can't
to
I see
Y.
the bill error? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
The bill error was there. Just-
Sorry.
Oh, that's interesting. The test runner doesn't
Should
show
be.
on bill error.
Now,
It's also possible that it had the build error, but just like ran the last test, just showed you the results of the last test, so kind of asked. That sometimes test runners do that also.
I think it did. Yeah.
right. And so this calls a regression test as well, right? I mean, question issue for the Apple A.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I fix that.
what's the fix? Or how do you know as a developer what's the right fix? This is a little bit different question now.
Yeah.
Like what role on your team should be involved with the requirements question? Because I think it's what you have.
Right, so that'd be a question for your Scrum Master maybe, or your product owner.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, but go ahead and fix it. You're right. I just want to check in because it's easy for developers to assume they know the right answer because it seems logical, but there might be a weird business reason for that. That there's a regional sling for just apples that way because it's trademarked that way in Pig Latin. But the rest of the words follow the rules.
I guess.
Oh, so you need help finding the test? Just double click on the test failure and it'll take you to the test that failed. And then it's got, there you go.
Yeah. So, like that, right? Apple A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you officially got more done than the North.NET group, so you have that.
Oh, wow, really?
Because you got the vowels. And you avoided the switch statement debacle.
Yeah.
They like to know we're going to do it. You know, there was like a movement in the group.
Well, that's the thing. When people start talking about that, like my first reaction is just to say refactor is a different step. Just get it to work, whatever, and then we'll think refactor is first. Let's just get the test and pass first. So that's just first bypass that whole conversation.
Yeah.
Later.
So he's got a good framework set up. Like if the next person wants to add the next file, it's very simple because they just look at the code. Do you want to continue, or do you think you got
It's up to you guys. If you want me to put another test in there, I can.
You're all okay? You feel want to continue? You feel ready to wrap up? What do you think, folks?
I had a question just in general about TDD. I've been learning it, but I have like this kind of like a roadblock when I develop using it, especially on a recent assignment. But how do you know, like, when you write a test without writing any code, it's your first ever test, how do you know like what your program is going to look like just based off of what first test you write? Because I kind of need like a little bit of starter code before I can go on, right?
It depends. So how did we start?
Probably here for that. Right.
Oh no, how did we start the very first? Oh, weren't you here at the very beginning?
I wasn't.
Oh, okay. So how we started was we had to decide. Could someone else remember how we started? What's the first decision we had to make to even create the file? The name of the class.
Right.
Again, I'm going from an object-oriented standpoint. If you're going functional, it might be the name of the module, it might be the name of the function. I don't know. But it's a little different with functional, but it's not. But it's the same point. It's like, what's the first decision you need to make is, well, I'm going to create a test. What's it going to test? Be able to state what that is. And from an OO standpoint, we start with the noun, Pig Latin, or just translator, I think it was. We had a discussion among the group whether it should be Pig Latin translator or translator. We decided that since our project name was Pig Latin, that the context is already set, so we just use translator. So we had a design discussion before we even created the file. And then we created the file. And then we wrote our first test, and our first test established, well, now we need a verb, or what's the function going to be on the translator class? What's the function name I need? And so then we had to decide that. So those were two conversations we had. And that's all we needed to know. It's like, well, what are we going to test against? And what is the method we're going to test against? The third thing that happened, and it probably happened too soon, too easily, because we're just working with strings, is how to communicate with the function you're testing. Are you going to pass a string? You're going to pass a data structure? You're going to pass a list? What, all those things. And we just put in string because it's still pretty obvious from our context.
That answers that here. Yeah,
Sure. I mean, it's easy to like think too many steps ahead. Like, well, maybe I'm going to. How do I make it complicated? I can think about all of the exceptions at the very beginning. I can think about having a vowel class by itself, a consonant class by itself. I could do more complicated design, but you just want to start small with whatever your first step is.
And realize it might change over time, right? One class could be breaking into 2 classes later, it could be 3 classes. You have to update your test as well, right? You got to just keep modifying as you go along.
And that's a good point, because there are people who don't like TDD because they feel like it causes too much bureaucracy. And my statement is that's usually because there's some misunderstanding or they're focused on a small matter that's a small cost for a lot of value. So they're complaining about a little cost, but for the big value, and they don't see the value. That's why we started this conversation today about, do you understand the value? So, for example, as you just said, if you decide you need a vowel testing class, you're going to have to move some of your unit tests from the translator test into a new vowel test class to follow that pattern. And it just copy paste, you know what I mean? It's not that hard, but there are people who get hung up about that. It's like, I shouldn't have to change anything in my test because I hate writing tests. I wrote it once, nothing should ever change. And so they get hung up on that, what I would call a small detail, because they're ignoring the huge value that it brings.
Right. Yeah, that was just something that was going through my head when I was doing it for the first time.
And a big part of this is that the test like drive your design, right? So a lot of it is also like, we write the test before we can have code because the test actually help also guide us into what kind of coded interfaces we write. So that definitely, so the driven in test isn't just about, hey, we got a bunch of tests. It's like, no, this gives us a better design because we let the test tell us what to do next. And that's kind of like,
the test drives it.
Yeah.
Why it's called test driven.
Yeah, exactly. Why it's called test driven as opposed to something else.
Well, the development part is the part that people miss, right? The development helps you develop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because a lot of people think they're going to just walk away from the test. That's like you do, but you also get the documentation, and you also get, the actual design is usually going to be simpler and more transparent because you started with a test strategy as opposed to like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and dream up this big design right now. It's often going to be more complicated what you get when you start this one. And that's kind of part of also about like how the design can sometimes feel that goes to the
Yeah, no, you're great. No, if other people have the answer and I don't have to speak it, that's great. I think it's great. So like a little more context. You're in college right now, is that what you're in?
Yeah.
So the good news is you don't have to unlearn a bunch of bad habits. You're picking up new habits, good habits now. What I find as somebody who gets hired to go help teams learn skills like this is that some people, so this is independent of years of experience, but if you do a bad habit for a long time, sometimes it's hard to unlearn that. And so they get frozen when they write a test first because they're already imagining the product code, which is what their training for the last 10, 20 years was. And they have trouble backing up and thinking about the simple first step. And so it's really a big problem because that doesn't mean senior people can't do it. It's just that some personality types have more trouble moving into TDD and they become like the grouchy guy on the lawn chair complaining about TDD because they have to, I know how all the coaches work. Why should I have to write a test for something that I know, and then that hard-coded first step, that's just crazy, blah, blah, blah. But they'll forget the time when they didn't take the hard-coded first step and you made something complicated and then they had to use the debugger to probably took a day, you know what I mean? Or something that only took a little bit of cost. Again, the cost is quite small. The other sort of high-level strategy you want to avoid is your tests should be simple as possible in general. Like sometimes there are times where you might want to write a loop inside of a test to generate some data, but that should be really rare. If you're doing that all the time, you're making it kind of complicated. You're building complexity into something that should be simple, so you can just glance at it and say, oh yeah, that looks right.
So when you say don't write loops in your test, are you talking about setup code, or are you talking about the actual test itself?
Either way. I mean, the overall...
Because I'd argue sometimes you do need to write loops in setup code. They did it last night.
There are always edge cases. Would you say you do that in 90% of your tests, or
No.
5% or something like that?
No, it's only whenever I need it. So it's not something I wouldn't reach for that right off the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Well-
it does happen. I didn't say never.
Okay.
You got some patterns like theory pattern where you can actually add in all the data for test cases, like say in a single test case, right? Instead of actually running through all of them. Then you have frameworks that actually run through random data for you. So a lot of times, if you're looking for that kind of test anyway, you probably have frameworks and extensions that will kind of do that for you, right? Because a lot of times, if people do that, they might be actually writing a different kind of generative test, and they're not quite doing TDD. It could be viable result, but it's not at that point really TDD.
Yeah,
Not necessarily.
I agree with what you said. That sounds like I'm not against automatically generating test cases if the IDE somehow. If the IDE knows about what I'm going to create and can write that test, I don't mind looking at the test and saying, okay, this is reasonable, and then writing it.
Yeah.
But most of the problem, okay, the shortcut, I know that remember earlier I said there's some developers who don't want to change and they want to like always write the product. What they're going to do is they're going to write the product and help the AI build the test. And if it can do a good job of that, that's actually better than nothing. I mean, that's better than not having any tests at all. But they are missing out on whether they get 100% coverage or 110% coverage. They're probably going to get lower coverage because the AI is going to build normal distribution tests, the middle tier type tests that it can easily observe and can generate.
I mean, you may not think creatively either, right? When you're writing your own tests, you're going to start thinking through all the scenarios. If you let AI do it, then you just might accept that right off the bat, and you don't think any further into it because you didn't spend an hour, 2 hours working through the test and writing them out and testing them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to come to you with all honesty that I use agentic AI to build entire POCs, right? And it will generate the tests for me. And I do that because I'm not shipping it to production, and I'm actually trying to involve myself as little as possible to get something done fast, but it does create the tests.
Right.
And then even that said, you can tell the AI to write it in a TDD style, and I haven't actually done that because I kind of think it would be, I don't know, I guess I haven't gotten to the point where I'm writing code that I know will go into production and write it in a TDD style. But I have friends who told me that works. Tony, have you tried that?
What, right?
Have you used agentic AI to do TDD on code that you're asking it to build?
Yeah, a little bit. Typically, though, the code that comes out, I don't like because, just because whatever code gets generated, I have to support in some cases. So, and I don't want to cause myself headaches in the future. So it might be good to just kind of generate the code and then go back and refactor it to where it makes more sense to you. But
so I use it in a context where I'm not shipping the code to production, and I like, yeah.
Well, your unit tests, you're not shipping those to production.
No, I'm trying to figure out what do I really need. So when I look at here's how I use it. I'll just tell you how I do use agentic AI. When I have code that I can't unit test because it's legacy code, I will look at it and then I will ask the AI to refactor some of it and then write tests for it. And really the better way is to have it write tests in advance, but usually when I'm having the AI refactor, it's something that isn't really testable anyhow, so I don't expect it to be able to solve the problem that I can't solve.
If you're dealing with a larger legacy code base, right, and you're just trying to get into it, sticking an LLM on it and say, hey, generate unit tests, that is a good, it's a way of kind of, taking a crack at the code.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to generate a bunch of, if you will, tests that never existed, I think that's a good strategy with an LLM. But when I'm trying to involve myself with the design, I don't know. I'm not comfortable yet. And this is where I'm at. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not comfortable yet letting the LLM figure out the design for me because I don't feel like it makes good enough decisions.
Well, that could be a trust issue.
You could be. No, absolutely. I have my limitations.
I've used the LLMs to generate end-to-end tests, right? These are which course are great. And I did not like the results at all. I found that most of the tests they generated were overly complex and meaningless. Like an end, you look at it, you're like, well, you just marked your way out of testing anything whatsoever, right? Now again, the scenarios I had may have been like just the code based in a particular framework, but I was pretty disappointed with the results that I turned out. I did not know what your results were having like generate end-to-end tests.
If you guys want to look at 5 more minutes, I'll show you something that I built with the generative agent. It's a long conversation, so I'm going to show you just the readme, so it'll be easy to know. So because of my job, I build a lot of example code for testing strategies so that I can show people how it can work, kind of like the condenser. API testing, API workshop. Oh, here we are. So in this case, so my context is weird. So in this case, I'm not trying to learn, I know Spring Boot, but it's been a while. Okay, this is Java. Switch to the Java channel again. So most recently I was generating some code for a workshop, and I wanted to try out some ideas. And so I'm just trying to build proof of concepts. I don't really want to get all the way into Spring Boot details, but I want to see at a high level if I can do API testing. So what I did is I wrote the README first. And so in a way I test drove this because I told it what tests I expected to be able to generate and pass. And I used it not as a unit test, but as a functional test suite. So I explained to it the application, like I told it, here's the architecture diagram. I've got, this portal has dependency on an invoice system, and the invoice system is called Abacus. Sorry, what have I got here? Consumer, oh, that's right, okay. So I have a consumer, I have an API, and I have this middle tier is dependent on another middle tier piece. So I describe it at a high level what it is, and then, where is my tests? Where are my tests? I know I had tests. Maybe I'm confusing some other thing I did. So I wrote given when then level tests, and I'm a little puzzled. Maybe that wasn't this one. Maybe it was a different one.
Yeah, in my case, I was trying something a little bit more, a little bit different. Like what you have was more structured than I was doing. And I imagine if I had taken that approach, I think I was more curious on, hey, I've got some code here, and I think I may have had certain acceptance criteria, and I was just like, hey, let's see what you could do. Can you generate end-to-end tests just with that? But yeah, if I had something like more structured, I may very well have had better results. So yeah.
And so I wasn't interested in the unit test part of the problem. I was focused on API tests. So I told it, these are the API tests I want to build. And what was cool about it is it updates the README when it learns more, and it maintains that code. And so I'm just sharing a tip with you from my journey with Agentic AI is I'm kind of, again, I'm thinking bigger picture than unit tests, and I'm usually building a whole end-to-end system of some kind. And so I spec it out, like almost like old school. We create the requirements first, and then I have the AI, before I have it build it, I have it critique the requirements. What questions do you have, I ask it. It goes through the requirements. It makes me work hard. Like I spent probably 6 hours trying to make it happy. It was code reviewing, but not code. It was reviewing my requirements and telling me where it was confused. Yeah, so I'm still finishing that. So I can't tell you yet if it's been a good win or not, because this one that I'm showing here, I was really happy, but it took me a couple days to get it fully working because it was getting hung up on dependencies. It isn't very good at it. It tends to use old dependencies.
Yeah, because I think